Hi, all my beautiful people. This is Breaking the Cage. I am Shaman Michelle Espinosa. I usually go by Bells as a nickname. But this is for the week of December 15th through the 21st. And wow, what a powerful week. I mean, we're coming to the end of the year. We're coming to the holidays in general. You've got a full moon on the 15th. The solstice is taking place at the end of the week. It's not just the full moon in Gemini, but Mercury is going direct on the same day as the full moon in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, putting it into shadow. It is a cold moon. You're going into, at least here in the United States, we're going into a colder time of year, going into the dark. Like I said, Mercury's entering shadow, and I've been saying this whole time that this Mercury retrograde in that 9th house of Sagittarius, not to mention you've got Sagittarius, which more or less many still see or choose to see it as Jupiter is the ruler over there. And galactic center, Jupiter is still in retrograde, which is in Gemini, which is putting abundance and manifestation also in, that Mercury retrograde feel. Retrograde for Jupiter, abundance and manifestation. All inward evaluating with a Mercury ruling Gemini full moon and shadow energy. Putting that Gemini ultimately in a shadow energy. From inward communication, overly communicating and talking to ourselves. I've been saying the whole time that this energy with this whole Mercury and so forth coming out of Sag is, how galactically centered are you? How soulful are you? How soulless are you in specific expectations, aspirations, is what I'm hearing from them, from how you're viewing the outer world. But we are coming into, before I get into what Spirit is giving me and whatnot, I'm still getting Ingwas, sorry, I'm pronouncing it incorrectly according to my notes, Ingwas, which is a rune, and I'll go back over that. I spoke about it last week. But let's not forget, guys, you also have the North and South Node that are going to be moving when? When are they moving? On January 11th, right around the corner, with your next eclipse season coming up in March. Bing, bang, boom. For those of you who have never watched or heard this show before, whether you're hearing it from a podcast, iHeartRadio, or you're watching it as a video, I'm so glad that you're here, and I only hope that it can be helpful for you in any way, shape, or form. And for those of you who are catching it on iHeartRadio or I've had a lot of people, sorry, I had to break for a second. I've had a lot of people who've asked me how to find it on iHeartRadio. It'll be under Breaking the Cage, but it will be under Matrix Minds. So you need to look that up in order to locate it. And for anybody else about the iHeartRadio, you'll be able to find information in the description box, as well as how to contact me for services and so forth. But I say all the time when I do these shows, if I'm doing my job right as a shaman, I'm teaching you how to not need me. But let's not get that twisted. I'm just like everybody else, and you guys are just like me. I don't have any more power than any of you all do. I've just kind of opened some of my presence maybe a little bit more. Fiddled with them and played with them. This energy is really asking us as I get into this week and looking at it from the broader perspective of into next year and everything. I've been saying it's really hitting Anahata, the heart chakra under Hindu. Anahata is the original name for the heart chakra. I don't know why in the United States, the Western and everything, we've lost that. But Anahata means unhurt, unbroken, unshaken. How many of us don't really feel that? I mean, we think we feel secure, and some of us are secure. Some of us have really done our work. But as we're really working through what this Mercury retrograde was, this shadow energy, this solstice energy that's coming in, this full moon energy here on the 15th, the cold moon, ruled by Mercury, which will be entering shadow as Mercury goes direct, Jupiter in retrograde here. Then we're looking at the solstice. We're going into the colder season here in the United States. We're going into the dark. And this is really about that Anahata. But as I put out for my little clip, or my little meme-like commercial for this show, I put out an old primitive wheel. I put out an old primitive wheel because that's really what Spirit is showing me. As we're going into this Pluto now moving into, well, it's moved into Aquarius and it's going to finally keep its stay here now. We're looking at futuristic ideas. We're looking at moving into a healthier, new futuristic world. We're looking at AI coming into, be of such a large magnitude of change in our world. And we've been being told from time and time again since before 2020, the world you knew is over. But yet the Spirit is giving me, it's an old commercial. I don't even remember what the commercial was for. But for those who don't remember it, I would have to say the Flintstones. They're giving me an old wheel that's not fully round. Over time, rolling enough might make it round, but it's been, banged away to try to make it into the wheel, but it still has hard edges. It's very primitive. And what Spirit has given me is the strangeness of primitive and futuristic coming together. We're looking at things from a brand new primitive beginning of understanding future based off of what we knew and what has to change. What society taught you was acceptable and what was not. And a form, shaman go under certain, I can't think of the word right now. When you're admitted into a society or something, you have to go through those little tests. But anyway, it's like certain tests so that you could be considered part of the group. For the life of me, that word is just sticking out. But one of them that shamans undergo is a dismemberment. And in dismemberment, in a form, we invite our demons in to dismember us and rip us apart so that all ego can be stripped out. And we have to do this from time to time, again and again, dismembering on the other realm while we're journeying and allow ourselves to be rebuilt. So we're getting rid of these bruised egos that we carry around with us and see things from a higher perspective. But in a form, this is what is about to start happening to the world and society as you've known it. The government, everything that is outside of us, our society in general, and what we've been taught from the hive mind mentality of this is acceptable and this is the way life goes and this is how things are done. And I've been saying you're seeing some of the worst of the worst of the worst come out because, you know, the planet Earth is ultimately shifting into another planet. I don't care what none of you say. That's what I'm saying. And the vibration of it, the Schumann resonance, is rising and rising and rising. And in order for us to continue to exist, we have to rise with that vibration. So it's dismembering everything that's not fitting in it anymore. Everything that's not in alignment with where we're trying to go with the movement the earth itself, Gaia, is presenting. And we're like, I'm sorry, but ants on our little planet all over the, you know, we have to rise up with that vibration. So in a form, everything that's unhealthy has been being brought out to the light and being dismembered little bits at a time. But as we're coming into that anahata, learning to reclaim our power and our authenticity, our light, our vibrational energy, we have to be very vigilant about these changes. And I'll have to say, for those of you who know me or have been with me for years, you know that I took care of Mom with her dementia and her heart problems for good at least full 10 years. And those of you who are just finding the video, she recently passed a month ago. A month then, like a week ago or whatever. And I use myself often with my difficulty of my own growth, so that, you know, I again let you guys know I'm not one of those fakes that are out here spitting off how I've learned something and I know all. No, nobody knows all. That's part of what being a master is. You stumble and you fall so many times that you finally have gotten good at it. Like I said, Spirit always tells me the only reason I'm good at what I've done is because I've screwed it up so bad so many times. And ever since she passed, now, don't get me wrong, I'm 50-something years old and I like leaving it right there. I like leaving it right at that. I'm 50-something. We don't need to go any deeper. I mean, I'm a Leo. I've been independent for most of my life. I am a strong-willed woman. I have no problem coming out and speaking my mind, but I also never stray far from my path. So I know sometimes speaking my mind needs to, so I can really pay attention and listen and observe instead of just spitting off my energy and being incorrect because of my emotions. I've lived a lot of my life independently on my own. So even though I've recently lost my mother after taking care of her day in and day out for the last 10 years, there's parts of me that have been stripped away that I lost and I didn't know I lost, or I was not as aware. But I will say, and the reason I'm going down this road, because it fits this whole anahata, it fits this whole Inuus energy of what we're trying to come into, is they say in your gut feeling that you have two gut feelings. One is your second brain. And they say, a lot of times that gut feeling is speaking about what's uncomfortable, what's not good, what you should not do. Oh no, let me not go down that road. But then the other one feels very similar. And it gets very confused. People get very confused with that other one because the other one is, you know what? I can do this. I can stand in this power. I can make these changes. I can do these things. But it's your gut. It's surrounded by the energies that we hold right below the heart energy that deal with heartache, that deal with helplessness, that deal with feeling rejected and afraid and powerlessness. So sometimes getting that gut feeling of uncomfortability isn't a bad thing. And I say that because ever since she died, I'm constantly being put in that. I'm constantly feeling that, going, okay, I can do this now. Oh, okay, I can make these changes. Oh, okay. And like I said, I've always been one to stand up. I don't take being pushed around lightly. I don't stand back and watch bad things happen. I stand up for the underdog. But at the same time, I'm noticing that with my world has been so shaken, and I'm in such an odd place of shifting and changing, which so many of us are for different reasons, that whole gut feeling, that second brain, I've been feeling that a lot lately. And a lot of that is often simply confusion of that afraid versus rejected and powerlessness of not knowing how to step into that power. Sometimes we can stand up and do the right things, but while we're doing them or we're standing up for ourselves, it's not about being aggressive and pushy. It's not about me first energy, but uncomfortably knowing that you can stand in that power. Even if you're shaking in your boots, going, I'm not really feeling comfortable, there's a little bit want to vomit, but you know what? I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to allow this, and standing up and doing that and making these changes. The difference is that when we're coming into people who are losing their power versus us who are coming into and regaining and reclaiming and re-honoring ourselves and loving ourselves, no longer allowing the opposite of Anahata. I will not be broken. I will not be shaken. I will not allow myself to stand here and be hurt because you're uncomfortable. You're going to see with that Mercury shadow and that ninth house about morals, three-dimensionally or higher, investigated of your spiritual endeavors, well-being, growth, transcendence. You're going to see a lot of those who feel like they're losing their power, who are feeling that shaken energy, belittling, condescending. When we're in our power, we don't have to be aggressively that way. I mean, depending on the situation, you might have to be a little loud enough to make sure someone hears you. And that I won't tolerate that. But you don't get into the push and shove. When you're in your power, you're able to say, even if you're worried about powerlessness or feeling that gut feeling of being able to be vigilant about what we don't want to have continue in our society, in our little personal worlds. I will not be belittled. I will not tolerate condescending behavior. I will not partake in this behavior. Learning how to love ourselves better. This energy is speaking to us with the solstice about nourishing our souls, nourishing our truths, soul renewal, and what is in alignment with us right now. And you may find that part of what you're in alignment with may not necessarily be satisfying, or it may be very satisfying, but it all is going to have to do with that confusion of the heart chakra, that anahata, unhurt, unbroken, unshaken. Speaking with the true self, true realization and truths, versus the alignment that you are on right now in your journey. I say all the time when I'm dealing with my clients, we think of law of attraction, creating our own reality, vibration and frequency. Of attracting energy and stepping into that manifestation. But often it's a chasing energy. And this is what I mean by alignment. I use a lot of times when I'm trying to help people understand it from maybe a different perspective, I use music as an idea here, or even planets. But I think music works a little better. Like if you are the notes of music, A, B, C, D, F. If you are a B music note, like I say a lot of times, the margins on the paper, you're allowed to write within the margins, but you can't go outside of the margins. If you are a music note, the margins would be B flat, B sharp, slowly moving into A or C. But you can't make a B be an F note. That is part of growth. Being able to understand the spiritual depths of what an energy is. I use a lot of times too when I'm like, if you are a Sagittarius, well, you can't be a Pisces. They have two separate energies. If you are dealing with the planet Pluto and the planet Venus, they are two separate energies. You cannot pretend that Pluto is Venus. You cannot pretend that a B note is an F. You have to take the energy for what it is. And this is what I mean when I start to say we have to learn about our alignment. Where are you on your journey? Where is your heart growth? Where is your spiritual growth? Where is your consciousness growth? And what is in alignment with you at this moment versus the law of attraction you're wanting to create? Let me jump back here into English again, because it is a God seeding energy from within, stepping into your inner Godding, your inner source. It is the world of your inner experiences, and it's still written all over the astrology right now. Like I say, I don't always do astrology like most astrologers. I didn't learn through the way most astrologers do. Spirit actually sat me down and taught me, but taught me not to blame astrology, but to help me understand myself. And this is why I say all the time, astrology is a wonderful way for you to start to learn and maneuver understanding energy. because there's so many different aspects here. You're talking about so many different planets, so many different signs, so many different aspects. Then the moon phases, understanding each energy as its own entity and then marinating them. But when I'm looking at the aspects, which is the sextiles, the trines, the squares that are written in the astrology, I see like a painting of the rune of Inuus, which Spirit says then you go to Inuus. And I explained this last week, or Ingwis. It is a seed gestating. It is the godding on here of earth energy. It is the world of inner experiences, virtues, common sense, and family, human warmth. The focus is on the need to go inwards and contemplate, to find something new and allow that new to take form. Stillness and a moment of process within the issues. Slow down. Like I said, this is a moment of change, and we still always have to make changes, but this is not, the big moment of changes. These are the moments of learning who we are so that we can take the baby steps that ultimately make the big steps. It's speaking to someone who is working in their spiritual work, working with the land, working with their true meditation and their depths and their truth. No decision without true deep thought. Inner nourishment. Go inward. Suspend the outer contact temporarily. Strengthening of one's inner resources. Achieving that inner growth. Process of containing energy in order to bring release for new fertility. It is the hidden realm, the double helix. Is there anything on the second page? No. It fits also with the fact of, like I said, it's the solstice. Soul nourishment. What are you in alignment with? Where is your fullness of strength right now? And why is it at that point that this is your fullness of strength? This is how we find the alignment we are in so that we can investigate our inner growth. What part is still hurt, shaken, insecure? Where are we not trusting in our depths of our truths? And why? Because, like I said, what I'm getting here is a primitive wheel. The beginning, a primitive nature, a primitive beginning of moving forward by the dismemberment of the world we've known, the society and the way that we've treated people and what we've been told is acceptable and is not, versus the brand new futuristic ideas that are coming at us. Then you have the North and South Node that are going to be moving, shifting more of that shift, boom, super fast. Come January 11th, I believe it is. We are really looking at the small things that make the big things. Where are we still tolerating the naive who are allowing themselves to not be in their power, to not be liberated? Where are we still seeing this out there? Taken advantage of, belittling, condescending personalities, speaking down to us, especially from authority figures, like as if we're lesser mutants. It all starts, like they say, it all starts with being nice. How nice are you to your pets? How nice are you to the stranger on the side of the street? It's the behavior that we ourselves, as well as we outwardly give the world that is being created within us. How are we treating it? Says a lot about where our heart chakra is and its level of healed consciousness. Now, before I get into actually walking through some of these energies, the blueprint itself hasn't changed much. I mean, most of the blueprint is still within the same energies that it has been in. Just a little bit of shifting. Like I was saying, the North Node is everything you need to learn in order to move forward. It is sitting literally on the midbrain, which is your motor skills. But it's about how you are processing your visual outer world, as well as the audio. What are you hearing? I made a little clip video the other day that was all audio about, in my own personal life, I was finding an imbalance. Because ever since Mom died, I mean, she died on November 2nd, right before Thanksgiving, right before the holidays. And I could just hear her in my head being like, no, 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 don't you dare. Don't you dare turn this holiday season into Little Miss Grinch because I'm gone. Don't you dare do that. You're going to go back and regret it. Within like a week of her death, I put up the Christmas trees. I wasn't even sure if I was staying in this house or if I was moving halfway across the country. But because I could hear it and I knew the importance of that, I put up the Christmas trees. And then as the holidays come on, I'm okay with seeing Christmas lights on people's houses. I'm okay with people being in the holiday spirit. I'm okay with seeing the Christmas trees. I'm okay with the Christmas present. What I'm not okay with is Christmas songs. My mom was one of those people that, oh my Lord, how she loved the Christmas songs. I can handle a Christmas song. But my mom would be one of those who's like wanting to put just Christmas music on for the whole freaking month and all year, all the whole freaking month. It's just Christmas, Christmas. I love you, but want to make me vomit with Christmas music. And I went shopping the other day, and like I said, ever since she's died, you know, I've had issues with grief. Who doesn't? I mean, after at least 7 years straight of dealing with taking care of her. That's like 2,555 days. 7 years doesn't sound like it's as big of a deal as 2,555 days. You're not going to be healed in less than 30 days. I'm okay with seeing Christmas. I'm okay with participating in Christmas. I'm okay with the fact that I'm not exactly okay. I'm okay with that. It's still something I'm working with, and being as a mother, that brings in mortality and the shifting and major changing in that I'm going to be going through that for a long time. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with working through that. But while I was in the grocery store trying to pick up groceries, and all of a sudden, Christmas song after Christmas song after Christmas song, I broke down. I was like, I can't handle it. I gotta go. But my visual perspective, my brain, my midbrain, taking us back to the blueprint, your motor skills, the way that you operate naturally, your eyes, you know, blinking and so forth, the movement of the motor skills, along with the way that you process the world that you are seeing around you. Some of that being fight or flee energies, you know, being able to see what's happening around you. What are you visually taking into the brain? What is your audio taking into the brain? I was realizing how the eyes bringing the energy in and addressing what I'm seeing in my outer world of my own creation, of my own reality was okay. But when the music came in, it shook me to a whole new level of, no, no, I'm not okay. I'm not in balance here. Because that put me in a level of grief so fast that I was unexpected. This is why it's important to understand the blueprint. It helps you understand you. It's not about blaming the astrology or the energy. It's helping you to understand you, your energy, and how you are dealing with energy. The North Node is everything you need to learn in order to move forward about the way the brain is processing and the motor skills are acting. How are you visually seeing it? The audio of what you are hearing, and how is that affecting you right down to the chill of your bone? Good or bad? Then you have Chiron, which is the nerves, like the nerve endings and what they are attaching to, literally sending that energy of what you are seeing and the audio of what you're hearing in your little world and sending it through every nerve in your body, telling your body how to act and operate and accept or not accept, fight or flight. We get into Taurus energy. We're coming into Uranus, which is in retrograde. Uranus has never been comfortable here in Taurus in the first place. But now it's sitting, last week I was saying it was on the shoulder blades, which is your supernatural highway. Your brain, your third eye, your higher consciousness versus your heart. But a lot of times it's not even the higher consciousness. It's just the brain activity. The brain activity of that midbrain communicating with the zeal point, sending it through the spine and the nerve endings to every single chakra. Uranus, your independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom. And then in Taurus, self-worth, self-esteem, self-worth, the possession and the power of you, or the very lack thereof being in the possession and power of you. Because something or someone else is controlling that power. Like I said, coming into that idea of hive mind mentality. This is in the shoulder area, but it's also moving into the collarbone this week, which also speaks to us of flexibility and support in the throat chakra. Not to mention, it's speaking to you literally of throat chakra, hearing, audio, speaking. Your throat chakra is not just about speaking, it's about hearing, audio. And what are we speaking back to the world we are creating? Higher waters or lower waters of consciousness? By being aware of where you are, what you are in alignment with right now, and why you're in alignment with it at this moment, understanding that. Then you have Jupiter, which again is in shadow, in the shoulder blades. No, I'm sorry. It was teeth for Uranus and the upper jaw. The shoulder blades and the collarbone is Gemini. Both of them are in retrograde. This is all of this upper chakras, guys. Everything is going on right now from the lower chakras to the upper chakras, telling you, where are you on your soulful journey? And what do we have to clean? Now, anytime I do the video and I'm not doing it live because I go through StreamYard, guys, if I don't get off at 40 minutes in, it won't go through. So unfortunately, I can't go any farther. I can't really explain the astrology, but I think I've already given you enough to go on. I love you. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.